The news for Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, continues to get worse. So Hegseth has survived the week, at least as of Friday morning. But I would say the reporting on what is going on inside the Pentagon suggests to me that he may well not make it all that much longer. Look, in any other previous administration, Hegseth would already be gone, okay? But even in this one, with Donald Trump at the helm, I want to tell you why I think things are off the rails and going to be hard for Hegseth to recover. So the latest news on Thursday was that Hegseth had went around sort of Pentagon rules to get Signal, the chat app that he apparently loves to use, installed on a desktop computer, which is, again, against Pentagon protocols. And then there were two stories that came out on Thursday night, both of which paint a very similar and unflattering picture of Hegseth. So one is in the Washington Post, and it came after Joe Casper, who was his chief of staff at the Pentagon, resigned that job to take a role as sort of a special assistant, a much lesser role. And that also happened Thursday. I want to read you a paragraph from the Washington Post story. Defense officials, speaking on the condition of anonymity to be candid about the situation, have described Hegseth as paranoid and increasingly isolated. He is surrounded by only a small team of people whom he trusts and has become keenly focused on daily news coverage, dissecting his missteps and decision-making. Yeah, all right, let me do the other headline and then let's break it down. So the Wall Street Journal published a deeper dive into Hegseth, and the headline was, Polygraph threats, leaks, and infighting, the chaos inside Hegseth Pentagon. In it, the journal recounts how Hegseth, after a briefing he was supposed to give to Elon Musk about China, leaked. He accused everyone of leaking it, and he threatened multiple people with giving them polygraph tests, which he eventually never did. But okay, so what's our takeaway here? In my experience in politics, when you start to narrow your circle, when you start to only rely on people telling you what you want to hear, when you become increasingly isolated and paranoid and focus, as the Washington Post said, on daily coverage of what's happening in your life, it doesn't work out, because you start spiraling downward, right? You get too focused on things. You can't do the job. It's a gigantic distraction. And what it seems to me to be at this moment is Pete Hegseth is totally and completely distracted by these stories that are coming out. We've had multiple senior staff leave. We've had the Signal chat that he created with his wife, his brother, and his personal attorney. We've had the Signal that he's trying to put on a desktop computer this week. It's all, none of it has to do with why he was brought into the job, right? Which is to reform the military, focus on, recruitment and all that sort of stuff. It's all about him, right? And I think Donald Trump is aware of that. And Donald Trump, like any president actually, doesn't love that, right? He wants Hegseth to do the job that he was hired to do, not to spend all of his time defending himself against negative stories. Hegseth is defiant. Trump is defiant. Neither of them want to give in because they think this is all, the mainstream media doing it. Again, it's not. It's Hegseth doing it and the media reporting on it. But, and the mainstream media certainly didn't cause 3 of his most senior staffers to leave, or one of his senior staffers to write an op-ed saying he needs to get fired. But point is, there is a level of defiance there that Hegseth has, and that Trump likes, right? Trump likes when you fight for it. I want to see you fight for the job. But I do think at some point, Hegseth's inability to do the job to which he was hired, right? This entire week is a waste for Hegseth. It was entirely spent defending himself on these issues of, did he do this Signal chat? These people leaving, why are they leaving? Yeah, accusing people of leaking and then saying you're going to give them a polygraph, becoming increasingly isolated, only listening to a few people who all that stuff. It has all the markers, right? It's like if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck situation. Well, this is walking and quacking like a duck, and that duck usually means that you are not long for your job. Now, it's the Trump White House, right? I mean, I can't tell you what will happen, because in the past, Donald Trump, a past president, would have gotten rid of Pete Hegseth. Donald Trump is not like any other past president we've had. This is not breaking news to you. So I don't totally know what he will do, but I will tell you that these two stories that I saw on Thursday night, I'm up in New York giving a speech. I saw these stories late Thursday night, and I knew what I was going to make this video about, because it seems to me that's the kind of stuff that comes at the beginning of the end. And I don't know if we're at the beginning and the end for Hegseth, but we would be if these kind of stories came out in any other administration. So keep an eye over the weekend, see if Pete Hegseth makes the weekend. All right, everyone, take care. And if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Free. There it is. You just do it. It's free. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good weekend.